TNA Throwback 63, and we've already reached the go home show for Victory Road, and this is the show I'm gonna review in this episode. So let's start with recapping the March 3rd show, and then we're gonna segue onto the show that I'm gonna review in this episode. So the takeaways here were that Bischoff and Heyman both agreed on having a lethal lockdown match at the next pay-per-view, where I guess they will fight for whoever wins will earn the right to run Impact on his own. Kind of like a GM versus GM, the authority versus authority. This, of course, stemmed from the finish of the Impact 2 weeks ago, where the Pope defeated Sting via a screw job. Actually, it was not a defeat, it just ended in a screw job when Bischoff ruined the match. It was supposed to be a clean match with Heyman as the special enforcer. So, this was a big takeaway because now we'll address who the teams are in the next following weeks, and we can make this giant match possible. Then we got a bunch of Lockdown Series matches. Anderson beat RVD when Hardy's team distracted RVD. We got the big X Division angle that I have explained in detail. The point of this angle was for both Bischoff and Heyman to appear that they are in power. So we got a 4-way for the X title with the pay-per-view. Robbie taking on Aries, Shelley, and Sabin. And the main event was pretty eventful because Sting and the returning Kurt Angle took on the Pope and Morgan. Kurt Angle, who was laid out 2 months ago at Genesis after the world title match. And at the end, after Flair was involved, Scott Steiner also returned, who was gone for almost 3 months, and made the save. And when I booked the show, when I talked about the show in the last episode, I have explained that this will play into the storyline. And now we're going to see what happens next. So, TNA Impact March 10th, the go-home show for Victory Road, which is on Sunday. So, the show opened with Sting, Angle, and Flair and Steiner. And they called out the Pope, Morgan, Storm, and Roode. So, they propose an 8-man elimination for Sunday, and if their team wins, the sole survivor will earn a world title shot on next week's Impact. But if otherwise, which means if the heel team wins, the guy who is last eliminated from the Legends team will retire. The Pope accepted on the World Congregation's behalf and warned them someone's retiring. So that's why I made the main event like this on the last show, because this played into the storyline here. We got the confirmation. So the Victory Road pay-per-view is not gonna contain a world title match because there's already a Lockdown series which kicked off 3 weeks ago, where they will the purpose of the Lockdown series is to have a contender for the Lockdown pay-per-view, and I think it devalues the title if we have a defense before that. So Victory Road is kind of a transitional pay-per-view. Lockdown is the big pay-per-view, the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, the big pay-per-view like a WrestleMania. So I think the important thing here is to have a good main event, but not have the world title defended. So the stipulation actually makes sense, because if the faces win, if one of these guys is the sole survivor, they earn a title shot for next week's Impact. So that means next week's Impact may be very, very interesting. But if the heels win, one of them will have to retire, and this will be the main event of Victory Road. So once we have established that, we continue with the show. We got the third portion of the matches. Actually, the first round of the Lockdown series will continue on the Fallout show, It's gonna be the last portion of the match, and then we're gonna move on to the second round. And basically after this show we got like 5 weeks until lockdown, so we got plenty of time to finish the series. Basically the semifinals and the finals are gonna take place on the go home show for lockdown. So here prize fighter Ray will defeat Orlando Jordan via a pinfall. After the match, Ray will cut a promo on Devon and say that they're going old school on Sunday. It's a tables match for the global title, so this is a rematch here. Then backstage, Shannon Moore hang out with Harry, and he'll try to soften up RVD before they go one-on-one at the pay-per-view. Then we got the another match from the lockdown series. Devon defeated Christian York, so both Devon and Ray are advancing. We got a quick segment backstage where Bischoff threatened the Pope. If his team doesn't win on Sunday, there will be huge consequences, because you see, Bischoff has right now a lot of stress on his mind. He has to think who to pick for his lockdown team in 5 weeks when they go 5-on-5 for control of the company. So I guess there's a lot of pressure right now on him performing well. And basically his faction. Then Mike Tenay announced Gail Kim will defend the Knockout Championship against Tara and Angelina Love at the pay-per-view. Crimson and Joe defeated British Invasion in a non-title match, but during the match Gunner sneaked up and stole the tag belts. The purpose of this segment is to again advance the Masters Bowl rematch between Crimson Joe and Abyss and Gunner, and basically to have the title stolen before the match, so there will be some heat on the heels. Carlito defeated Chris Sabin via a pinfall after using a low blow to advance in the series. After the match, Anderson cut a promo on Carlito. He's putting an end to his cheating tactics. They'll go one-on-one in a strap match. So for Victory Road, this is gonna be a strap match. It's gonna be the second match between these guys. The first match was won by Carlito at against all odds. Then we got Rob Van Dam beating Shannon Moore in a singles match. Continued to do a beatdown. Hardy made the save. Hardy told RVD that he can bring his friend to the pay-per-view. Since there's no DQ, he'll still kick his ass. So basically we are, I guess the point here is to finally get the reveal who the best friend of RVD is. At Against All Odds, when they had a match, there was a mystery guy interfering in helping RVD, but he never really revealed, and right now he's out on the show, so I guess he will reveal himself at the pay-per-view. Then we got an interview with Angle. He got interviewed. He's happy to be back. He's gonna be focused on winning the Lockdown series so he can earn a title shot at the Pope again. But actually, he can earn a title shot by being the sole survivor on Sunday. Then we got Kurt Angle beating Gunner via an ankle lock in a first round from the Lockdown series. Then we got a Heyman interview. He announced the first member of his little Lockdown team next week. Then he talked about Victory Road. He wished luck to the TNA legends and hoped there's a title match. So he hopes that they will win. In a main event, there's actually a weird main event. Matt Morgan beat Scott Steiner via Carbon Footprint. But of course, the whole purpose of the main event is to have the legends clash with World Congregation. They will try to beat down Steiner. Sting, Angle, and Flair will make the save, and now Bro will close the show. So this show is nothing special. It's just the final build, and now we are up to the Victory Road pay-per-view, which is gonna be booked in the next episode of this show. I don't know what else can I talk about. So I guess see you in the next episode. We booked the Victory Road, and then we got 5 weeks till the Lockdown pay-per-view where a lot of shit will be resolved. So stay tuned.